Ragebait isn't a side effect of a broken algorithm, it's the product. And the creators making it know exactly what they're doing to you. Ragebait is making you a worse person, not metaphorically, but measurably, in real rooms with real people you actually love. And these platforms are designed, top to bottom, to make sure you never connect those two things. I spent an embarrassing amount of time inside this, watching how the algorithm works, noticing how my own behavior changed over months, reading about the psychology behind engagement mechanics. I'm not an expert, just someone who got genuinely disturbed by what I found when I looked closely enough at my own patterns. Because here's what nobody in the self-improvement space will say out loud. Willpower was never going to save you from this. Not journaling, not screen time limits, not a dopamine detox. The system you're trying to resist was built by teams of engineers whose entire job was to make sure you can't resist it, and it's working. I'm going to tell you exactly what Ragebait did to my life, not just my feed, and make an argument I think is genuinely uncomfortable. The people watching this content are partly responsible for what it's become, including me and also you. I'm not here to shit on short-form content or make you feel bad about scrolling. I'm here because I think we've been having the wrong conversation about this entirely, and I want to have the right one. Everyone thinks Ragebait is just annoying content made by attention-seeking people. That's wrong. Ragebait is a deliberate content strategy, and one of the most technically sophisticated ones on social media. It's not made by people who don't know what they're doing. It's made by people who know exactly what they're doing and have optimized every element to trigger a specific reaction in your nervous system. The hot take that's just wrong enough to correct, the "am I the only one who thinks," designed to make you feel like you're witnessing something unacceptable. The calm, unbothered delivery from someone saying something genuinely outrageous, because calm makes the outrage feel more real, not less. Every single element is a lever, and someone pulled all of them on purpose. I used to scroll past this stuff feeling vaguely superior, like I was too smart to fall for it. Then I noticed I'd been watching the same creators' videos for 20 minutes, stopping on every one, reading every comment, never interacting, just absorbing. And I was angrier when I stopped than when I started. That's not accidentally bad content, that's a precision instrument. And here's where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. Because social media platforms don't just allow this, they need it. These platforms make money when you spend time on them. That's it. That's the whole business model. Ad revenue tied directly to minutes spent in the app. So when a Ragebait video makes you angry and you watch it twice and you screenshot it and you send it to someone, the platform just made money. And it learned that this type of content keeps you in the app, so it shows you more of it. There's a line I keep coming back to. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. We've heard it 1,000 times. But what I don't think we fully reckon with is what it means when the thing being extracted isn't only your data, it's also your emotional state. These platforms aren't just mining your data, they're keeping you in a state of low-grade outrage because that's what keeps you on the screen. And that state travels with you when you close the app. And here's the take I expect most people to push back on. I think a lot of people who make Ragebait content know this. Not all of them, some have just stumbled into a format that performs, but the ones who've been doing it for a while, who've built careers on it, they know what they're doing to you every time they hit post, and they do it anyway, because it pays. That's not a content creator. That's someone who found out they could make money by making you feel bad, and decided that was fine. About a year ago, I got into an argument with someone I genuinely love. Not a big fight, just one of those small disagreements where nobody wins. Later that night, I was trying to figure out what had actually happened, because it came out of nowhere, and I traced it back. I'd been scrolling for about an hour before that conversation, not watching anything in particular, just scrolling. And most of what I'd seen was Ragebait. Video after video of small, sharp irritations stacking up invisibly. I walked into that conversation preloaded, shorter fuse than normal, lower patience. And the person on the other end had no idea they were getting the backwash of 15 strangers on the internet who don't know I exist and wouldn't care if they did. That was the moment it stopped being an abstract argument about algorithms. But here's the part I didn't want to say. I kept watching anyway, for months after that. Because knowing what something is doing to you and stopping are completely different things. I had plenty of information, I had zero actual change. If you're watching this and nodding along thinking, yeah, Ragebait bad, glad I know that now. I need you to understand. Knowing is not the same as done. I learned that the hard way. But here's what actually shifted things for me, and it's not what I expected. It wasn't discipline, it wasn't deleting the app, it was getting genuinely specifically angry at the right thing. Not at the content, not at myself for watching it, at the fact that my emotional state, the way I show up for the people I love, was being decided by a content strategy someone else designed to extract money from my attention. That reframe changed something. Passive guilt doesn't make you stop. Clarity about what's actually happening does. I'll say the thing that's going to get pushback. We're partially responsible for what RageBait has become. Not primarily. The platform's incentive structure is the engine here. But every time someone watches a RageBait video to the end, even in outrage, even to screenshot it and complain about it, they're voting for more of it. The algorithm counts your disgust the same as your approval. It can't tell the difference. It just sees that you watched. The people making this content are responding to signals. And for years, the signal has been, this works, keep going, make it more extreme, we will watch it. So the question isn't just how do I protect my own feed? It's whether we're collectively willing to stop funding the thing we say we hate. And right now, mostly, we are not. 3 things I actually changed. Not tips, just what I did. 1. I stopped engaging with anything that made me angry before I could name a real reason to care. Not, this is wrong, a real reason. Does this person's opinion affect my life? Is there a real human on the other side of this worth engaging with? Usually no, so I just scroll past. 2. I started treating the comment section like a crime scene. If the top comments are all variations of, I can't believe this person exists, that's not a community responding to content. That's a comment section being farmed. The creator wanted exactly those comments. I stopped giving them. 3. I got specific about what I was actually losing. Not screen time in the abstract. The conversation I walked into, preloaded. The hour I spent angry at strangers instead of building something I actually care about. The version of me I was becoming in rooms that had nothing to do with these platforms. That specificity made it real in a way screen time is bad never did. But I want to end on something bigger than any of this. The feeds, the algorithms, the RageBait creators, that's all real and it all matters. But it's pointing at something I think is the actual problem. We live in a time where it is genuinely easier to feel something fake than to feel something real. It is easier to get angry at a stranger in your feed than to sit with the quiet discomfort of your own life not looking like you thought it would. It is easier to spend an hour in low-grade outrage than to spend 20 minutes doing the thing you keep saying you're going to do. The anger is cheap, it's immediate, and it fills the space. RageBait creators didn't create that dynamic. They just found it and monetized it. They looked at a generation of people who are overstimulated, underfulfilled, and chronically distracted. And they built a product calibrated to exactly that. And it worked. Because we let it work. Because it was easier than the alternative. The alternative being sitting with your actual life. Feeling the actual gap between where you are and where you want to be. And doing something with that feeling that isn't scrolling. That's the hard version. That's the one without a framework. I'm not going to tell you this gets easy. I'm not going to tell you I've got it figured out. But the anger you feel watching RageBait is real energy, real attention, real time. And right now, most of us are handing it directly to people who specifically engineered a way to extract it from us. At some point, that stops being a platform problem and starts being a choice. And I think most of us, if we're being honest, already know which side of that line we're on.